Hey,
All
everybody.
right. Hey.
Hello, I'm Lisa Daly, and with me today is R.G. Belsky, who is the author of the awesome Clare Carlson series. If you have not read this series, you are definitely missing out. Hello, R.G. Belsky.
Hey, Lisa. Good to see you again. Since our launch event a week or two ago, which was great fun, and always fun to talk about the book with you. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, so you have, before we get started on Beyond the Headlines, which is the new book, it just came out. And is this the fourth book in the Clare
It
Carlson?
is the fourth. Yeah, yeah.
Fourth in the Clare Carlson mystery series. And Claire, your protagonist, is a reporter, right? She's
Well,
a
she's
she's
a
a
woman.
television
She's a woman
newswoman.
TV journalist. Yeah.
Yes.
So, and if people know something about me, I basically had two careers in my life, which is most of my career I was a journalist, but also for a lot of years I've been writing novels about journalists solving crimes, which kind of works out because it all comes together. And that's certainly what happens with Clare Carlson. Yeah, so I worked a lot of years. I was the city editor of the New York Post. I was a managing editor of the Daily News. I was at Star Magazine, and I was with NBC News.
Mm-hmm,
So I
mm-hmm.
draw on all that when I do my fiction, and Clare Carlson, amazingly enough, is a journalist in New York City who covers some of the same kind of things that I did. It's fun. And I'm always, no one can ever accuse me of saying, well, you don't know what you're talking about, because I'm writing about stuff that I do know something about. So, and that's how Claire was created.
Well, I love that. I mean, the thing is that I've seen that you've gotten so many comments and reviews from fellow journalists who really love the authenticity in your books. And here's what I want to know. So
Okay.
Beyond the Headlines is about a bigger than life celebrity and a billionaire businessman,
Right,
and
right.
is there anything in your real life career that that maybe you drew from when you were creating this story for
Oh,
Beyond the Headlines?
yeah, definitely. Because, all my ideas basically come from news stories I covered. I mean, they're creative versions of it. But Beyond the Headlines is actually inspired by the O.J. Simpson case. And I covered that, was involved in it for 2 years of my life back in the 90s.
Wow.
And that was about a huge celebrity who's accused of a horrendous murder. And the nation sort of, takes sides on it, and the evidence gets a little bit pushed aside. And the big issue there, of course, was race with O.J. Simpson, which played the overwhelming thing there. In my case, it's a woman celebrity. And she's a celebrity. And here's a little drawing on real life. I call her like a Kim Kardashian like celebrity. She's famous because she's famous. That's kind
Mm-hmm.
of what she's famous for. But she's very well known. She's in all the A list, and she marries this wealthy billionaire, so she becomes even more famous for doing that. Then he's found murdered. She comes forward with horrible tales of things that he had done, but she's still charged with his murder. And so the nation sort of takes sides again in my book, very similar to OJ, only on the basis of women's rights and Me Too. And so that's the basis of it. And what Claire has to do is get through all of this sideshow stuff and try
Mm-hmm.
and follow the evidence to find out what really happened. And as is often happens in mystery books, that trail of evidence gets very tangled and twisty.
It does. It makes for a good story, though. It makes for a really
And
good story.
yeah, and the second part of it is many years ago, I was drafted, was in Vietnam, and Vietnam plays a big role in this book too, which kind of sounds strange, but there are events that happened 50 years ago that led to what happened, in the present day. And so I'm able to write a little bit about that. It's not a novel about Vietnam, but I do, weave that into the plot. So yeah, most of my books, and this certainly is one of them. I take things that were in my life and that I know, and because if nothing else, I think this comes through to the reader. I have a confidence in writing about them because I know what I'm writing about.
Right.
If I were to write a book about a lawyer, or a doctor or something, I would need to do a lot of research, and I also would, run the risk of making mistakes. So this gives me an ability to, hey, I know what a journalist does. I know how this works, and I know what what a celebrity trial is all about. I've covered celebrities, I've covered crimes. I know about Vietnam, so that's why I like to draw on things like that, and the result is beyond the headlines.
Well, it's a fantastic story. I mean, it is one of those books that is going to just like keep you up until 3 o'clock in the morning. So I find this interesting, though. You said that of course, you write about what you know about. You know about Vietnam. You know about being a journalist. But what do you know about like the celebrity life, like Kim Kardashian? Like, did you watch a lot of TV?
Yeah. Well, I spent 10 years of my life as news editor of Star Magazine, which covered, we sell 3 million plus copies in the supermarkets in those days, back in the 90s. I worked for 20 years at the New York Post, and the New York Post and the Daily News both have been known to write about celebrities on occasion.
On occasion.
I always say that the two, people always talk about journalism. They're like, oh, well, journalism should be about important things. It should be about the environment. It should be about better education. And all that is like really important stuff. And people are like, well, you always write about the Kim Kardashians and horrible crimes, But the issue is those are the two things that people want to read about. And that's why,
right.
I mean, the media wouldn't do that if they didn't want to read about it. That is just the fact. And the two most popular things with readers of newspapers and viewers of TV or websites is crime and celebrity news. And when you can put them together in a celebrity crime story like O.J. Simpson, that is when that's when you really have like an amazingly sensational story. And when I've been writing a novel, I want to have a really sensational story. So that's kind of what I did and put those two elements together.
Well, you have done a fantastic job and definitely created a very sensational story in Beyond the Headlines. If you want to pick up a review copy of this book, you can just click the link below and it'll take you right over to NetGalley or Edelweiss, and you can get one of those right away and be reading by this afternoon.
And it's a quick read. I'm told by everybody. That's the one thing I love. People say, I sat down and I read it in a day. And I love to hear that because I'm a news guy. I want to get it out there fast, So, read the book and then read another book after that,
Yeah, why not? You've got 4. Why not? Make a weekend of it. So, all right. Well, thank you so much for being here, R.G. Belsky. The book is Beyond the Headlines. It is out now. It is absolutely fantastic. And it's like chocolate-covered popcorn. All right.
I like that description. Thank you, Lisa. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay. All right.